The Eafp podcast.
As electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub, my friend.
On the JCA Sports Podcast on Spotify and Anchor app. What's up, everybody? How we doing? It's over. It's done. The Eafp podcast. Well, not the podcast, but World Cup qualifying. Merrick Avila here, late night. I know, 10 o'clock. Trying to make this quick, simple, and easy. As we already have our 3 direct qualifiers for the World Cup in Qatar, whatever you guys want to call it. 2022 for November and December. Canada is number 1. Mexico number 2. USA number 3. And Costa Rica is heading towards the playoff matchup against New Zealand in June. So those are the 4 teams that have, well, at least 3 teams that have qualified. Costa Rica still has to go into the playoff round to qualify. What does that mean? It means that the United States and Mexico are in pot number 2, while Canada is in pot number 3. And and if Costa Rica wins the game against New Zealand in June, they will be in pot number 4. Very prematurely, they're going to put that, as the World Cup drawings are going to happen on Friday at 10:30, 9:30, around that time a.m. as we're going to see who's going to be in what group for the World Cup this coming winter. Guys, I want to know what you guys think. Put the question up here. Actually, let me just put it right here on the chat where you guys come and join me too as well and talk about a little bit football with me. Let me just put it on here. You guys can join me as the Eafp podcast is here live on Facebook. Trying to be in here quick, in and out. That way we could talk just a tad bit. Lots to get into, guys. The United States men's national team lost in Costa Rica. I was hoping for a little bit of excitement. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping it is. I was literally hoping for somewhat of a little, shaking in the boots or something. If Costa Rica would have scored 2 more goals, or just to make it somewhat interesting. But it's what a coincidence that Nani goes on and said, what a coincidence that they switched from a front 3 and they were better and performed considerably better. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that, Nani, because I was thinking the same thing too. I wanted to be the advocate, at least not Chucky, even though Chucky hasn't been playing, but more Tecatito. I thought Antuna played exceptionally well, as obviously he scored the first goal, but to be quite honest with you, I don't know if, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I don't know if it was Mexico or they looked a lot better, or was it more of El Salvador not just playing up to par? I think that's the real question we really have to see the bigger picture too as well. Do they look better? They look a lot more deadlier, yes. Don't get me wrong. They look a little bit more efficient on top. They didn't look as lackadaisical. Saul, Sulu, what's up, homie? Is Antuna best player for today for sure? For this game, definitely, 100%. 100% for sure. He did look like the best team. I didn't understand the substitution of taking him out to put in Chucky Lozano. I don't know if it was for a fire under Chucky to play better because this guy's going to take his position. I honestly don't know. Nani, I agree too. He looked great on the wing. I think that's going to be a tough decision for Tata to change it up. Remember, it's doing a conspiracy theory behind the Selección Mexicana and how they operate things. They want their best players to be at the World Cup. And I think that was one of the main decisions. It's going to be tough for sure. You guys could join me I have the link up here too as well for the Eafp podcast. If you guys want to join me to talk face to face, we can. I'll be glad for you. I would love for you guys to come talk to me so we can have a conversation here for you guys. So yeah, Sulu, I think it's either going to be on honestly almost any channel. I think Fox, for sure, Peacock, Telemundo, maybe Univision, TUDN. I mean, you name it, wherever they're gonna have it, they're gonna have it on there for sure. Guys, this is the Eafp podcast here on Facebook Live. Make sure you follow the John Konabi Facebook page too as well, and join not only my podcast, the soccer podcast, but our podcast too as well, the Sports Strip Live, and also the JCA Sports podcast. As today we're talking about, it's finally over. The World Cup qualifying is over. We finally have our three that qualified in order: Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Costa Rica is going to play in the playoff game against New Zealand in June. I want to know what everybody thinks. The link is on here too as well. If you guys want to join, just make sure you guys click the StreamYard app on your phone or computer. Let's talk face to face. That way we go on the StreamYard Live app. If not, if not, always do the same thing like you guys are doing, like Nani and Sulu. Make sure you guys put it on the comment section for show. Sulu says he has his three preferred goalkeepers for the Selección Mexicana for the World Cup. Ochoa, Talavera, and Acevedo. I honestly I like the two. I like the three. I like the three that you put on there, Sulu. I think they're probably the best goalkeepers in Mexico right now, depending how you want to put Talavera as either number 2 or number 3. We'll go with that too as well. It'll be great. Competition for sure. As we're talking here, the Selección Mexicana winning 2-0 against El Salvador. Now he said they look different. Like Nani said, they looked a little bit different, but is it really because they looked really different, or is it because El Salvador wasn't up to par and literally they weren't qualified? Nani says if Acevedo doesn't go to Qatar, that's a terrible decision. He's a great option to have. He really is, and that's where I kind of. Obviously, future podcasts, and obviously when it's right around the corner, and we'll have more of a heated debate too as well. I really do want to see what kind of group there's going to be. Let's put it like this: there's a lot of decisions to be made. There's probably, I want to say 5 players, 6, 7 players guaranteed that I think they're going to be in the World Cup for 2022. It's either going, honestly, it's Raúl Jiménez, Héctor Herrera, Edson Alvarez, Guillermo Ochoa. I want to say Néstor Araujo, probably Héctor Moreno for one last time. And I don't know who else I'm missing out of this group. Chucky and Tecatito probably, depending. I mean, even if they're on a bad time in any of the clubs that they're playing at, I think those are the for sure 8 they're going to be on there. And then it's just everybody else down the list. I would love to see that. More than likely, I would love to see who's Mexico going to draw. They're in pot 2. I was looking at the pots, who's in what pot for the World Cup coming up for the draw on Friday, and it's quite interesting to see that because the Portugal win yesterday, automatically that put Mexico in pot number 2. Along with the Netherlands, with the Portugal win yesterday, but the pot number 2 is really interesting because not only that Mexico is on there too as well, but also Mexico's in there, the United States are in there, Netherlands are in there. It's a very interesting pot. Obviously, you got the main ones. Obviously, Qatar is going to be number 1 because they're the host. They're in pot number 1. And pot number 2, where we look, here we are. I found them. Okay, so in pot number 1, we have the hosts in Qatar, Belgium, Brazil, France, Argentina, England, Spain, and Portugal. Those are pots number 1. In pot number 2, we have Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, Mexico, United States, Switzerland, Croatia, Uruguay. In pot number 2. In pot number 3, we have Senegal, Iran, Japan, Morocco, Serbia, Poland, Korea, and Canada, the top group of the CONCACAF. And in pot number 4, we're going to have Tunisia, Cameroon, Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Ghana. The UEFA playoff spot between the Ukraine, Scotland, or Wales, because obviously Scotland and Ukraine are not going to play until June. And then that following same week during all the playoffs, they're going to face against Wales. We have the between Australia and the United Emirates, Arabs. You know what? I'm sorry. Australia versus I should just say UAE versus Peru. That's the one that's coming up too as well in a one-off, and also Costa Rica versus New Zealand in June as well. The pots are very, very interesting, and thanks to Portugal, that will leave Mexico the highest seed in CONCACAF in pot number 2 if they were lost to North Macedonia yesterday, to qualify for it. Yeah, Nani, for sure, you're 100% right. Pot number 1 is disgusting. Literally, it's just the top 10 teams on there. I want to see what you guys think about that too as well. Join me on the link. I put the link on the comment section if you guys want to join via laptop or computer. We want to know what you guys think. What are the possible who are the possible opponents? Who could be the possible opponents for both the United States men's national team and the United States? Remember, it's going to be a pot, one team per pot in it outside if you're not in your same region. So it's gonna be quite interesting. It's a very tough pot for sure in any of the pots, honestly. Sulu also goes on and says El Salvador was playing defending themselves. Honestly, look, it was just an ugly game overall. And like I said, was it because El Salvador couldn't just them playing that horrible, or actually Mexico looked like they were controlling the game too as well? Real quick, let's jump on the United States versus Costa Rica game, and that game was a little bit interesting. Let's be honest, it was quite competitive for sure. I had the two games going on at the same time for both the United States and Mexico. Obviously, Mexico on the bigger TV, but I saw a Costa Rica hungry to pull off the result. I honestly thought after the first half being 0-0, I thought there was going to be no chance that they were going to go score 5. But what I loved about it, that Costa Rica is going to show a little fight, and they're going to fight to get in, no matter if knowing that they're going to be in the playoff spot, and show that, you know what, we still can qualify for this. And for the United States, they just didn't have the same energy, the same hunger, the same desire, the same umph that they had on Sunday night against Panama, scoring 5-1. It just, they didn't look like it was the same team, but they knew that they were qualified automatically. It was still a bad performance, and a performance like that, it's gonna go into question where Berhalter is gonna be in his position, whether if he is or is he not good enough to take this team to the next stage in the World Cup qualifying, or not in the World Cup qualifying. I'm sorry, to the World Cup. Nani goes on the comment section, says, knowing the United States, look, they'll get the group of death. Hey, you know what? They've done it once before, and they've gotten out of it too as well. This is the first time. Well, it's finally the United States are back after missing 2018 in Russia. Sulu also goes on the comment saying, we all know that Mexico always play way better in the World Cup. Do they, though? Do they? That's the real question. I think this year, I won't be surprised if they don't make it out of the group, depending on the group that they get. Now, look, it's always going to be tough, especially any of the teams in pot 1. The one weakest team I actually see outside of the host in pot 1 is Portugal. And let's be honest, a team against North Macedonia yesterday, it took them a long time just to get comfortable, just to get into the game, and just even to score the goal from Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he scored a brace yesterday to kind of comfortably get them into this playoff spot. But to me, if I were to rank from bottom up, I'll go Qatar, and then I'll go Portugal, and literally it'll go from there. The one team that doesn't convince me in the pot 1, and maybe because of a transition period, is probably Spain right afterwards. And then it's just your pickings. Obviously, you could probably put Argentina and Spain. You could probably put them, the third worst team up there, and then one after another. And then obviously England follows that up too as well. And then you just pick your poison, whether if you want France, Brazil, or Belgium as number 1, 2, or 3. Pot 2 is not that hard. I mean, pot 2 is not that hard. Pot 2 doesn't come that easy. You have Germany that's in there too as well. Netherlands that are up there. A good team in Switzerland. The runners-up of the last World Cup in Croatia. You got a team like Uruguay that will never go away. That will always fight dirty. That will fight hard. You got both CONCACAF teams, Mexico and the United States, and you have Denmark, who just look pretty amazing no matter what they do at whatever spot that they can. So yeah, it's just one of those things that that whoever if you get Qatar and possibly even Portugal, your group doesn't look as deadly as you once would think. I think that's just my early Yeah, Italy did do Ronaldo a solid. That's right for sure. Sulu, I mean Nani for sure. And Sulu says, "What? So what do you guys think about Italy?" I think Italy was just from a team that won the European Championship just a year ago, to where they are now. It's just a fall from grace. They didn't qualify the last time, and now this is two back-to-back World Cups that they didn't qualify. We're gonna have a decade of no. We're gonna have 12 years of Italy not being in the World Cup. 16 years maybe, depending how you want to mark it, right, or how you want to put it down. So I want you guys think the EAFP podcast here on Facebook Live. Myself, Eric Avila here. Make sure you guys follow the John Konabi's Facebook page so you can watch all our podcasts, and also follow us on all our social media platforms too as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and make sure you guys follow us on Spotify and Anchor. Make us your favorite podcast on Anchor and Spotify as well. I also have the link up here too as well if you guys want to join uh me and have a one-on-one conversation through your phone or a laptop, and join me. Let's talk football. Let's talk more football. Let's talk more soccer. I know it's 10:30 at night, 10:20. Try and make this quick and briefly. I know what you guys think about the results today. United States lose in Costa Rica 2-0. Mexico won 2-0 in the Estadio Azteca. No matter what, both results. Mexico came in second, the United States in third. Canada, no matter what results, win, lost, or draw, came in first place. Costa Rica finalizes the top four and is heading to the playoff round against New Zealand this upcoming June to see who's going to qualify up there too as well. And that's how we round it off. The United States and Mexico and Canada tied in points. Goal differential goes to Canada. The United States with 25 along with Costa Rica. Goal differential helped them out there too as well. So I think the four that we thought that were going to be in the World Cup are the four that would probably be are the four that in there. I think just the position wise is just a little bit different. So we'll see. Sulu has a question on the chat saying, "Is Argentina passing the group stage?" You know what? Nani's right. They have the momentum. 38 games unbeaten is crazy. Doesn't matter the team they play. That's just a crazy streak. You're absolutely right. They have not lost in the world. They have not lost since getting eliminated in the World Cup against France, and that crazy game too as well. Let's not forget that game was just back and forth and as crazy as you can get as in a World Cup playoff match. I think it was around a 16 match too as well, and they haven't lost since. 38 games is a long time. That's 4 years worth of playing games and not losing on there. So, but again, it's from here to June, and we like to do the early speculations, right? We like to have fun and see put who and put where in these pots. But them being in pot one makes them a tough draw no matter who they get. Obviously, let's put it like this. Let's say a group. Let's put a group like Argentina, Denmark. Then we'll go with South Korea and Saudi Arabia. A group like that, you will definitely put Argentina top of the group too as well. But if you want to complicate things a little more and make it a little bit fun and make it like a semi-group of death, let's do Argentina. Let's do Mexico just for fun and giggles. Let's do Japan and let's do how about let's do one of the African teams. How about Ghana? Ghana, one of those tough teams too that will play you hard to the very end and to like that. You know, it just depends on the position and what the draws are, and then obviously after that, you know, what group. Because remember, it's one versus the first group against the second place of the other group that face off, and then go from then on too as well. So it's a lot. Sulu says France might take it again. Obviously, they're one of the favorites. I can see that happening too as well. They are a top team, and with all the talent front and back, with Lloris and Varane, and anyway, you go up and down the list with Pavard on the right. Obviously, the middle of Pogba and my God, you and N'Golo Kante, and up front you have Mbappe and Giroud and Coleman, and man, that their backups can't even be starters anywhere you go. So you're right, Zulu. That's a good early pick. I will probably look at the draws, see who are the favorites on Friday after the draws, just see what are the odds like if you guys want to put a little money gambling wise too as well. See who goes there. So yeah, fun times. Guys, I don't want to be on a little too late. I know we all have to work tomorrow. None of you have the privilege, or some people have the privilege of either A, going to school, or B, going to work tomorrow. So don't want to put this long, a few more minutes with me on the Eafp podcast here on Facebook Live. Guys, make sure you share my shows too as well, to show out to your friends and join me. Add me on the JCA Sports Podcast, John Konavi on Facebook. Like everything, follow us on all our social media platforms so we could make this bigger. So yeah, pretty much that's it. It's gonna be an interesting Friday. Make sure Friday you guys tune in, 10 o'clock. The World Cup draws for the World Cup in 2022. It should be a little bit interesting. We'd like to say welcome back the United States to the World Cup after missing out last time out in Russia. It's gonna be interesting, y'all. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be excited. Another podcast will drop Friday a little bit early in the morning, not this late for sure. Definitely we'll talk about the pots there, so be on the lookout for that. Stay tuned for another podcast on Friday before we go back to our regular scheduled program every Wednesday here. Creation's Cinderella story will continue. That's my underdog pick. Ooh, it should be fun. I don't know. I think Croatia's I think Croatia reminds me of that one team of just, them in 2014 didn't do well, especially they were in the group with Mexico, and you see what Mexico did in 2014. 2018, I think they got lucky in the draws, and obviously they played ugly enough for them to qualify and to make it all the way to the final. I think this year, where everybody just 4 years older, there's really nothing that big of a difference. They might probably have the fifth best attacking options in all of football, but it's not a young crop to say, okay, yeah, they got one of the best central midfielders in the world in Luka Modric, but everybody else is just like, okay. Croatia would be one of those picks that I'm like, okay, that's a cute pick. I think if you want to win a little bit more money for them to make the final, okay, maybe even semifinal. I mean, look, it just depends on the draw, man. We got to think about it. Yeah, it's fun and cute. We can always pick anybody in pot one, right? I think, to me, Belgium's overrated with the talent that they have. I think that they're the most overrated team in that pot. Brazil, they've always find ways to somewhat compete in every World Cup, but for some reason within the last couple of years, ever since 2000, when was the last time they won? 2002. I think that was the last time that they won. Ever since then, like, it hasn't been the same Brazilian team that everybody enjoyed and watched, especially me. When YouTube was YouTube and watching all the Joga Bonito videos, it just hasn't been the same team. They don't look as convincing for me. I think the toughest out of there is France. You can make your case for England with the squad that they have, and they're bringing in with young squad, up and coming talent. Obviously, they have a striker and front to back. Almost every player on that squad in England. So it's going to be I think this World Cup could probably be the most wide open World Cup that we could probably think. I think Sulu's picking France with running again, sure, but then there's also Germany making that comeback again. That's sure. Sulu wants to know what's my pick. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. I don't have one yet, and I normally don't have one even up until like a month before the World Cup. I think that one. I think that one's going to be a little bit too complicated for me to say, okay, right now, who's my favorite to win it right now? I mean, my escape route will probably be France, simply because they're defending champs. But even then, so I don't know. This is the beauty about football. Like, you just don't know. So, and Nani said it's coming home? ? I don't know. I don't. Look, how about let's just wait till Friday. We'll see the picks. We'll see the pots. We'll see the draws. We'll see whose matches where, what group matches where, and then we'll go from there. And then I'll let you guys know. If I make my early predictions now, I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know by Friday. Stay tuned. Friday, the Eafp podcast, another special edition of the Eafp podcast, will be on Friday after the draw. I'll probably give you guys what's a good time on Friday. Probably 2:00 will probably be a good one. Maybe a little bit before. We'll see. But for sure, stay tuned for another podcast on Friday as we'll talk about the draws of the World Cup, and we'll go from there. It's getting kind of late. Let's go to sleep, y'all. Thank you for joining me. Nani, Sulu, thank you for commenting. Everybody else has been watching, liking my comments, guys. Again, make sure you guys add the John Konavi Facebook page so you guys can watch all our shows, the JCA Sports Podcast, Sports Strip Live, and Combat Sports of MMA and WWE, and of course my podcast too, the Eafp podcast. Make sure you guys also download. He said, "Don't be lazy." Nah, man, I don't know yet. Let wait till Friday. That way you guys can watch me on Friday. How about that? A little tease for Friday. Make sure you guys listen to us on our Anchor and Spotify app too, as well as all our shows are there, including our interview with Mike G and Greco. And also follow us on all our social media platforms. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your kids, tell everybody to follow us on our social media: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. The JCA podcast is all over social media. As for myself, Eric Avila, I am out. I will see you guys on Friday as we're going to talk about the draws. How about the drawing of the World Cup? Yeah, draws. I don't think it sounds really good. Yeah, the drawing of the World Cup on Friday for 2022 for November. I will see you guys then. Nani, Sulu, and everybody else that was watching and commenting, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday. Don't miss out. I'll post it up on my Facebook and the JCA and the John Konavi Facebook page on the time that will go on. So I'll see you guys then. You guys have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. And let's wait for Friday. Friday should be exciting. I'll see you guys then.
Scrooge smile with the quality of his goal.
See you later.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
He's intolerable.